Hey, how about you, everybody? Hey! Welcome to the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Wednesday, November the 8th, 2023, and we're here to talk as much recruiting as we possibly can in the next hour or so. Here to help me do it all, Mr. Colehead. Mr. Colehead.
Jay Lee's Pinkhead.
Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Jhead. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you, big dog?
Welcome back, Jhead.
Thank you.
We have missed you thoroughly. We really have.
We have.
I have missed being here, but I promise you, even though Jeffrey thinks I'm only here for the drama, I'm here for some recruiting today. Fellas, and I promise you, if we win next Saturday, I'll show up on Sunday too.
Let's get we missed you Sunday night. So Cole is still at 7-5. He likes Auburn at Arkansas. I'm still at 6-6. I think Zach's still at 6-6.
7-5. It's what I said before the season. I'm going to roll with it.
All right.
I think it's a push on that game. I honestly do. I do think Auburn is the better team, but Arkansas is at home. And it's going to be interesting to see how Peyton Thorne plays in a true road environment, because we can all assuredly say this on this show. Vanderbilt, while they have some decent players, that environment is not a true home environment for them. There were more Auburn fans there than there were Vanderbilt fans.
I do feel better about Auburn on the road after after what I saw at Vanderbilt. However, I haven't watched Arkansas. I've watched a little bit of Arkansas, but this past Saturday I watched them against Florida, and that's you said. I was going, man. I think they're better than Auburn.
I think it's about equal talent.
It really is, isn't it?
It's about equal talent. They did some things offensively where they went back to the old Browse playbook. Obviously, Kenny Godden is a Browse disciple of some sorts. He was brought on board by Kendall Browse to be there. So they chucked out a lot of what wasn't working underneath Dan Enos, and they did some things that worked, that more that one read chuck and duck type system that had made famous. And it really worked. And obviously they got their Rocket Sanders, fantastic running back, which makes a huge difference for them.
Yeah, it does.
What I will say is that Florida had 2 defensive tackles out. They were playing with a lot of freshmen on the defensive line. Auburn's not going to be in that same situation. Even though our rotation isn't deep, it's more of a veteran presence, and we've held up better against the run than Florida has at this point. How much does that change the picture for Arkansas and what they can do offensively? That I don't know, and I'm going to be interested to see how that battle holds up as we move into next week.
All right, enough football for this recruiting show. Let's get into the recruiting. We've got questions from the corner, but before we get to them, wanted to say, get you some bird dogs, big dogs. Man, I tell you what now, it's 75, 80 degrees, so I was able to rock them.
Woo! Look at that.
Man, that belly. That damn belly. Woo!
Red's little schoolhouse, man.
Yeah, you kidding, dude. That's a 3-course meal for me every damn day I go down there. Hey, we still got the promo going for Bird Dogs. You can go to birddogs.com/Auburn, all caps, one word, believe it or not. Enter that promo code for a free Hydro Flask style tumbler with your order. If you haven't already, put on some Bird Dogs. The shorts, they come with a liner. You don't need underpants. I can't wear Bird Dogs all the time, but when I can't, I got me some Bird Dogs underwear. So the Bird Dogs are always handling my big dogs. So in addition to all that, Bird Dogs make you look good, big dog. They've got this stretch khaki shorts. They're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and the leg, and they give you that sculpted look, kind of like this shirt does my belly. Don't want the shirts, but you can have the shorts, the sculpted looks. They do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but they're better. They fit way better. I didn't even know that. I thought Lululemon was always a chick thing.
No,
It
man,
was.
a lot of dudes.
It was a chick thing, apparently. My wife told me that they're trying to expand their market, which is smart. Smart.
Yeah, well, the Bird Dogs do. They fit way better than the regular shorts. They absolutely do. No doubt about it. Listen, before I started wearing Bird Dogs, I was like, man, I mean, how much better could a pair of shorts be? How much better could a pair of underwear be? I was like, whatever, dude. I'm going to rock my, my Sam's Club Hurleys. I got me some Sam Club Hurleys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ain't nothing wrong with some Sam Clubs Hurley. And before that, I had some And1s from Walmart.
And one, get you some starter underwear.
I think I got this from Christmas about 7 years ago. So yeah, I've moved up from And1s to Hurleys to Bird Dogs, dude, and it's not even a damn competition. Go check them out, dude.
Jump. That was a big jump.
It was like, it was going from like a trailer to the apartment to the condo
to the Ritz.
Man. Jeffrey's like the Jeffersons, moving on up.
I am moving on up. So are my boys. Go check them out, man. Get them Bird Dogs, big dogs. I'm telling you, just give it a try. It's absolutely worth the money. Go to birddogs.com/Auburn, all caps, one word. And tell them we sent you. That's how you will be telling them we sent you, because you'll be using the promo code Auburn, all caps, one word. Appreciate Bird Dogs for sponsoring our show. Appreciate Bird Dogs for what they're doing to me right now. Yeah. All right, let's get to the questions. We got questions from the corner. Listen, we've had a fantastic week of Auburn recruiting. A lot going on. Today is basketball starting period. We'll get to that later in the show. But let's get right to the questions from the corner. Mr. Ben Cornforth. Am I reading that right?
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Maximize my screen. Can you give a quick rundown of Jakai's recruitment? All right, this is Jhead Howard, 4-star forward from Atlanta, originally from Boston, who committed to Auburn. Told me he signed. I don't think Auburn, as of the taping of the show, has released it, but it's a done deal. Ben Cornforth wants to know about his recruitment. Okay, here's what I know. Why didn't he end up with any of his top five? And how did Auburn get into the mix? Auburn got into the mix by Jhead Pettiford. Him and Jhead Pettiford were AAU teammates. Ira Bowman recruited the hell out of Jhead Pettiford. Every time he would go to see Jhead, there's Jhead Howard over there. And if you'll remember, a week before Jhead Howard came in for a visit this past weekend. Before that, nobody knew who he was. And it was because of Nick Cody, who was a similar type player the week before, who came in for an official visit. He made his college choice that Thursday, and he chose Texas.
Yes.
And this was almost I'm just reading the tea leaves here. Jhead was kind of a backup plan for Nick. Now, even leading up to Jheid's visit to Auburn, my people were saying, listen, it's not a foregone conclusion. We're going to take him. We want to bring him in. We want to look him up. And if the numbers work out, he's the guy that we'll want. But that was the middle of the week. I think that was around Tuesday leading up to his visit. Nick Cody then committed to Texas, or after they knew he was going to commit to Texas. And then Auburn brought him in, said, yes, we like him. We're going to take him. He committed before he left, and then announced on Wednesday that he was coming. So, and this dude's really good. I hadn't even watched any of his video highlights, whatever you call it, until today. Mm-hmm. This morning, I got the word that he was coming. Have you seen him, Jhead?
I have.
Dude's good.
Very athletic. He's still a developmental 3-4, but
Sure.
That's what Auburn was hunting in this class. They wanted a guy. If you look at the people that they're potentially losing, Jalen Williams is for sure done. Chris Moore potentially is done after this year. You got Chad Baker-Mazzaro coming back. You've also got the young man that transferred up from Alabama, Huntsville.
Chaney.
Yes. You've got
Chaney Johnson.
Chaney Johnson. There you go.
Coming back for another year as well. You needed somebody that you could come in and kind of groom behind those guys. And this is a guy that's a very, very athletic player, somebody that's very similar to what you saw last night against Baylor. He's a developmental prospect, a guy that's rough, a guy that plays D, a guy that can get you rebounds, block shots. And he's a developing offensive player. I believe he shot over 35% in AAU from behind the stripe this past year. And a guy whose stock is actually on the rise. He was the number 14 ranked player in the country at one point. He fell all the way back, I think, to the 80th ranked player. And now after a strong AAU season, he's back on the rise again. I think he has some things in his personal life that probably shaped, some of the things that he was experiencing on the court. But I think Auburn liked what they saw from him all along. They just had one player in Nick Cody that was a little bit higher on the board. But this is a guy that can absolutely come in and contribute. I don't see Devin Cambridge. I see a much higher ceiling than that. I know that's some comparisons that people have thrown out there. To me, he's an NBA type guy if he hits his top end. The other thing I'm told is he meshed extremely well with Bruce Pearl. They bonded over their background in Boston together. And he's a kid that gave all indications he's not looking to jump into the transfer portal should something work out in year one.
Right.
What he indicated to them is, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in this for the development. And that's what Pearl needed to hear. That's some of the tentativeness now with taking high school kids. You don't want to invest in them, and then you turn around and a year later they're out the door and they're headed to Syracuse or wherever.
Right. Absolutely. Well said. This is a multi-year guy.
Yes.
This is a program guy.
Yes.
Not looking to play first year. Hell, even in his interview, his exit interview on his official visit, he said, man, I'll play wherever Bruce wants me to. He is a great coach. I trust him. Wherever he says I'm going to play, I'll play. I think it's the Isaac Okoro role, yep. But I'll play the point if he wants me to. If he thinks that's where, he's not going to. But that's just how the kid was. He's grateful to have this offer. He's grateful to have this opportunity. Those are the type of kids you want. Extremely athletic. Really has come on. I'm excited to see what this kid does when he gets to Auburn. Good stuff, Ben. Mace Hamdu, do you think with the majority of our flip targets, we are going to see movement sooner or closer to signing day? Cole.
Majority probably going to be closer, but there's going to be a few. There's going to be a few that you find out about one way or the other, whether they flipped Auburn or they shut things down like DeAndre Carter did last night. You're going to find out about them as soon as this week coming up, maybe before you get into December, before November's over. I think you will find out about a few. But a majority, I think, is closer to signing day, December.
Yeah. In the words of Rodney Garner, big dogs walk late.
That's right.
And I think that NIL and how that's strategically placed and what deal is presented is going to play a big part in that, because if you're Auburn or any other team that's in the recruiting world right now, you want to make sure your number is the last that they see. There is no counter offer. This is the biggest and best deal you were going to get. If it's a player you're going to have to overpay for.
Yeah.
Rice DP with a good question here. We talked about DeAndre Carter, which was huge. On Tuesday night, he said, I'm done. I'm in. I'm going to Auburn. Iron Bowl visit. 100% committed. Huge. He had visited Toywood, Texas for a little bit. But anyways, with Carter, just wanted to give you all a little preface there because Rice is DP. With Carter confirming his commitment via tweet and the back and forth recruitment with Khalil House, who is an offensive lineman committed to Stanford, what do you see as the most expected outcome from this offensive line class as a whole? First, Cole, update us on, because you're the Khalil House guy here. I don't have any intel on Khalil House. I'm adjusting my hot board percentage on him based on your intel. You think Auburn's not really pushing hard for him right now?
Yeah. Khalil House is a guy that I think Auburn could have when they're ready. The question is, are they going to be ready to do that? And a lot of people are probably, going, well, what in the world? You have one offensive line commit, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of names that you're in it for. It seems like I'm just going to make this very clear. And I argued with somebody on the corner. Talked to somebody on the corner about this. Auburn ain't reaching. They don't see the value in it. They don't see the point in having a guy that they think may not contribute in the next 2 years at Auburn.
Think about guys like Garner Langlow, who occupy a scholarship for 3 or 4 years and never produce, never contribute.
Right. And that's not to say Khalil House wouldn't be a guy that comes in and becomes a starter, but they have to bank on their evaluations. And right now they have him lower than others. And when he did that, when he decided to go to Stanford in the summer, we were just hearing about DeAndre Carter.
Yes.
So their board shifted a lot, and Carter was way ahead, and House is still where he was. And I don't know exactly the star ratings they give to each guy, but he's apparently not a 4 or 5 star.
Khalil.
That's just, again, this goes back to like the Bradley Shaw recruitment where, they're talking to him, but they're not kicking down the door saying, you got to be here.
Trying to lasso him.
I think they're talking to him and they're recruiting him, but it doesn't seem like there's a big push right now. I think if they really wanted to, they could have flipped him right after he visited for Georgia, based on the intel that I have.
I think that's very fair, Cole. And then my expectation for this class, I still believe they're going to take 4 high school guys in this class. I firmly believe they're going to try to replace every person that's leaving. So you got 4 seniors in this group. I think you're going to try to take 4 freshmen, maybe a junior college guy, maybe a portal guy. So I think 4 to 5 is still what they're looking at, with Favor Edwin probably being the most likely to join here relatively soon.
Yes.
Man, I'm just like, I'm doing my hot board and I'm going, man, besides Favor, if Cole is hitting on this, House is not, who the hell else? They're throwing Hail Marys to guys up in, the Michigan State commit, Andrew Dennis.
Yeah.
They're throwing Hail Marys out to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Think about it.
They obviously they know something we don't. Know others that we don't. They have other names that we don't know.
Either that, Jeffrey, or with the portal, you obviously have that coming up. You can get some guys there, but I mean, Dylan Wade could come back. That's the guy that's a starter for you right now. Jaden Muskrat's playing a lot right now. Jeremiah Wright can come back. Connor Liu, who's your starting center right now, is a freshman. So they feel pretty good at the top of the offensive line right now. Really, the two that you would lose are Stutz and Britton. Am I missing something besides Irvin, who's not really playing?
Irvin, Britton, and Jones. Those are the ones that you're
Avery
losing.
Jones.
Yeah, so you're losing 4.
But you look good at center, right? I mean, Connor Liu looks good there. So the question is, how many do you really need to go for in this class if you're having to reach? Do you want to reach for anybody? Never. That's not the way this staff operates. So if they feel like somebody's reached, they're not going to take them. They might end up with 2 guys. But I happen to believe, and just like you said, Jhead, there's going to be a name that we're not tracking very closely right now that ends up signing with Auburn.
My belief, and vaguely in conversation that I've had with what I would consider informed parties, I think who visits for the Iron Bowl and who visits in those following 2 weeks in December, they've got a name or names that will be visiting and will be much more clued in on who they've zeroed in on offensive line wise. I just don't think we've seen the movement there, and they haven't let that name out just yet. But
I will say there's a name. It might be the same name you're talking about, Jhead.
Yeah.
That I've heard that was once committed to a big time school and not anymore. So I don't know. I don't know enough about this guy to say anything yet. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who visits for the Iron Bowl is a good way to gauge it.
I agree. Let's see who visits for the Iron Bowl.
The offensive linemen are great about keeping their mouths shut. Have y'all noticed
that?
Like, the intel about O-line has been very, very difficult to come by.
Smartest position on the field, Jeff.
Damn right. Damn right.
Typically it's offensive linemen who don't take pictures at the photo shoot. You won't even know they visited it. That's how they go about it.
They all about the business, man.
Yeah.
Bubbat wants to know, if you had to make a prediction, would you say Auburn lands one of Ryan Williams and Cam Coleman?
I feel much better about Ryan Williams than I do Cam Coleman.
I do too.
But I can still only go 50-50 on Ryan Williams.
That's where I am. I'm a no on Cam Coleman right now.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. I'm not getting there. I'm at 30% on Cam Coleman. I feel like that's fair.
That's very fair because I believe he is not signing with A&M. I 100% believe he is flipping. But flipping to who? Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Auburn. Who's it going to be? That's what I don't know. I just don't feel strongly that it's us at this point. And maybe that's because I'm gun shy because he didn't commit to us the first time around.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm with you 100%. I think he does not end up at A&M, but I'm not sure it's Auburn either.
So would you predict Auburn lands one of those two?
The interesting thing is with Cam Coleman, I mean, I don't know if they're going to fire Jimbo, but there's definitely talk about it right now. And Napier at Florida, I mean, it looks kind of dim for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 coaches that potentially, and I'm not saying they are, but potentially could be on the hot seat, and that'll ruin a recruiting class in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think Billy's on the hot seat. Jimbo's absolutely on. At 7-5 is going to get him fired. Let him screw around and lose to LSU. And I'm telling you, it's going to get him fired out there. And they're going to pay $70 million to watch him walk away, plus his staff. And then they're going to have to go after Lane Kiffin or some other big name to appease their fan base.
I could see Cam Coleman surprising everybody once again and signing with like Georgia or Alabama or someone.
Sure,
like nobody giving them much of a shot, and of course then the big dogs come in. But I will say this: I would say as of now, Bubbat, I would say yes. Auburn signs one of those two.
Yeah,
agreed.
Okay.
I agree.
Joey AU 11. Any updates on Alvin Henderson, who is the 2025 4-star running back, top 100 overall recruit? He went to Miami last weekend. Jhead says he's got something. He's got the elbow connection.
Yeah, I would tell you that Florida has made a big play as of late, that Georgia has picked up their recruitment of Alvin. Miami is obviously in the mix. I still think Auburn is the favorite, all that said. But Florida has definitely picked things up on their end. That would be the school that I would watch at this point with Alvin Henderson.
I'm still with Cole on this. It's going to be one of those rocky, crazy recruitments of him tweeting out graphics and taking visits and doing all that. But in the end, if he doesn't sign with Auburn and Auburn actually wants him,
I completely agree.
I'll be surprised.
That's the position that I'm most intrigued in, honestly, is running back. Because, and I'm talking about for 2024.
Yeah, me too.
And many people ask, with Fat Burnett not being with Auburn anymore, does that hurt Henderson being that they're cousins? I think it actually helps, because let's just say Auburn does not get a running back in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Then that helps. But also, with the way things are today, yes, Auburn gets their entire running back class back, but do you expect attrition there? A guy like Damari Austin feels like he get carries at another place, goes to the portal. I think they're all pretty loyal to Auburn, but you never know. You can hardly blame somebody for going to look if they're not moving up in the rotation by year 2 or 3.
They use so many of them, though. Everybody
they use them well. They do.
They do. They really do. I love the rotation at running back, and I don't think Damari is that kind of guy.
No,
I don't either.
I think Damari is going to be patient here. I think he realizes that next year, if he stays healthy and Jarquez does return, that he's going to be the number 2 guy, and he's going to get a lot of carries because they want to rotate him. And if Jarquez doesn't return and does turn pro, he knows he's the man next year. And
I know Damari's in recruiting. He probably catches our show sometime. I'm just using him as an example from somebody from the running back room. And I'm using the law of averages too, because it's just how things are these days.
Sure.
Somebody might leave, and then what do you do with numbers?
I agree. To me, the odd man out, because Jeremiah Cobb has really come on as of late, is going to be Brian Battie. But Battie he's already used his transfer, so he's kind of stuck unless he graduates, which I don't think he's necessarily close on that. But he's still got a role as your kick returner.
Sure.
He has always got a role there, and that's very explosive. He's very explosive in that position.
Yes, he is.
WDE 1999 wants to know who Auburn has the best chance of landing: Cam Coleman, Ryan Williams, or Jeremiah Beeman. I will go first in that because I have my hot boards up. I have Ryan Williams at 50. I have Jeremiah Beeman at 45, and I have Cam Coleman at 30.
Fair. I would not disagree with any of those percentages.
I say Beeman. Beeman's my pick.
Really?
The reason for that is because there's no hard date on Williams right now because he has not reclassified.
That's true.
So that does not mean he's going to sign in December. Let's say he does reclassify in December. He's probably still not going to sign in December.
His
right?
plan would be
February.
Yeah.
Right, because he's going to take official visits and do his thing. Beeman's more of a hardline guy. We know that he's probably going to sign in December. That means Auburn's going to make their play with him. So is Georgia. So is whoever else is in the mix. So I say Beeman's most likely right now.
I like it. Aces Full 1, not to be confused with Aces Full 2. Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, the emojis I think are only for the live show. Oh, maybe not.
Look at that.
But that was confetti.
It was.
How y'all?
It's just yours. It's just yours.
You hold on to that one when we do our live show for National Signing Day. We're going to need Jeffrey Lee and confetti.
Yeah.
But it was the balloons.
Please tell me, Jeffrey and Jhead, that y'all saw. And I'd give them a how about you this week, but I didn't save it. Somebody on a recruiting update this week on the comments Somebody posted a screenshot of Jeffrey doing this with the thumbs up emoji.
Oh
when
yeah,
it was good news. It killed me.
I saw it.
Oh, hey! It's tough to get it to do it. I get excited. All right, folks. Not who's the next commit. That's too easy. Not even who's the next 3 commitments. I actually thought this was satirical question. But let's play. Let's play. Who are the next 5 commitments for Auburn?
He
didn't say 2024. He just said commitments.
2025
commitments.
So it's 2024 or just commitments period?
Commitments.
Period.
Okay.
Well,
right.
Laquan Robinson.
Yes, Laquan.
I'm trying to think who's close.
Let's go favor Edwin.
That's the that's the only one I can think of.
I'm going to defer to my article. Who could be Auburn's next commit? I put 7 guys in there.
Well, who was number 1?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Perlotti.
So, because I put them in order, I have Laquan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Jamonte Waller.
Oh.
Favor Edwin.
Yep.
Jaden Perlotti.
Yep.
And Ryan Gee. Or however you pronounce his last name.
I'm going to throw a name just because I think something could happen. Not that anything has, but I think if there is a strong push with this person, watch Kylan Fox.
Kylan Fox. There you go.
A good one. I had him in the other update.
There you go.
Watch if we push hard there. I think something on that one could happen.
I agree. Also on the list, I had Eric Winters and Derek
Winters.
Smith. Those were 2 others I had.
I'll give you one other. Who's the JUCO end?
Oh yeah, Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor. That is one I think he goes before signing day. I honestly believe that. I think he's going to try to get a spot someplace.
I agree.
Speaking of Brian Taylor, Brad from Birmingham wants to know who are the top 3 JUCO targets to track other than Laquan Robinson. Brian Taylor.
Yes, absolutely.
Cole loves him. I'm curious to see if Deion Smith visits, the wide receiver.
He's good.
There is a JUCO offensive lineman, Javen Richardson.
Yeah, that's it.
And another one from Mississippi that we just offered.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
I was just looking at it.
Jaquan.
Yep. Oh, no, let me beat you to it.
Bolden. Yeah.
That's it. I think those are the ones to watch. And I still haven't been able to clarify on the defensive lineman out of Pennsylvania that we're taking a look at.
Definitely going to take a JUCO offensive lineman. Keep an eye on Javen Richardson and Jaquan Bolden. Definitely going to take a JUCO defensive lineman. Keep an eye on Brian Taylor. Keep an eye on that's a tackle I wanted to say. It's on my hot board. Go look him up. Shit, I can't remember his name. But anyways, yeah, keep an eye on those. That position. Garrett Mashburn, who is a full court shot Auburn could pull off on signing day that nobody saw, or someone that could emerge into this as we get closer to signing day? Kind of a out of left field, I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
A Hail Mary is what he's saying. Full court shot. You're in the wrong sport, Garrett. That's basketball recruiting. He's talking about it was a Hail Mary Auburn could pull off on signing day that nobody saw. You know, if nobody saw it coming, we're not doing our jobs.
Correct.
But it's happened plenty of times.
It might have to be. Could it be a running back that we haven't figured out yet?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
I would say Duke Watson is the name that I'm watching if Auburn does not get in the mix with Kevin Riley.
Yeah.
Or the young man out of Cobb County. If they're not able to go there, do we make a last-second pitch to Duke Watson? That's the name I'm going to pay attention to.
Okay.
How about Zequan Patterson, who we have not really talked much about lately?
Yeah.
He was the first name I thought of, and then I thought of running back. And I feel like Duke's going to be an easier flip than Zaquan Patterson. But I will say this. Miami's cratering a little bit, guys. Like, did you watch their last 2 games? That game against North Carolina State was ugly. It was ugly, man. I know he's committed to there for, obviously relationships and other reasons. So it may not necessarily, the trajectory of that program may not necessarily drive what he does, but it's not going to be beyond the realm of possibility for Miami to start to go up in flames here at the end of the season and people start looking around some.
Yeah.
Astrophobia. Did I get to the astrophobia? I'm sorry. Oh, well, speaking of Miami, Zaquan and Kevin potentially looking at a 7-5 season now, do our chances with Zaquan Patterson and Kevin Riley begin to rise even more? If you are a firm believer in proof of concept, as Jhead likes to say, on the field product,
yeah,
then they're probably at least having a little bit of doubt. You don't think that applies to Auburn because they have a first-year coach?
First-year coach who's improved.
But like Florida?
Yeah, what's the trajectory? That's the question.
Right, there you go.
7-5 in your first years, if you ended on a good note, is fine, especially after what you've gone through as a program. 7-5 in what year is Mario in? 4?
He's just year 2. He's year 2.
Oh, is he 2?
Oh, he's good then. No, dude.
Why does it seem like he's been there forever?
I know it.
To me, it's more when you look at what they're doing in the season, they're backsliding. They started off significantly stronger, and now the product looks worse than it did to begin the season.
What was that game? Was it against Georgia Tech?
Oh,
yeah.
Just take the damn knee.
Right. I mean, that's just a pure time management, not understanding how to manage your team. That was purely on Mario. Now Mario's a phenomenal recruiter, but
it was almost as bad. It was worse because it cost them the game. But Colorado inside its own 5 before the half.
And hey, by the way, don't forget there is another Miami commit. This might actually apply to the previous question. Nycar's still out there, and I went to see him in person. I don't know. Maybe he's somebody.
That might be a good Hail Mary to keep an eye on, Garrett.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that nobody saw coming because it'd be hard to say, Jeremiah Beeman is a Hail Mary. No, everybody knows that's coming. Everybody knows Auburn's recruit. But Nycar, that might have been a Hail Mary. Yeah, that's at least an option.
For the record, with those two guys you named, Astrophobia, Zaquan Patterson, Kevin Riley, I've recently heard things about them that Auburn's in the picture more so than maybe some think, which is, it seems recurring with both of them. I mean, how many times have we heard that over the course of this year? I just don't know. Are they really going to have a shot? I don't know how to read those two situations yet.
I would tell you they're both individually very interesting to me because Riley's obviously from the state of Alabama.
Yep.
I think that makes him an easier flip target, but Zaquan does have an Auburn influence around him somewhat. So him getting back for an official visit, I think, if that does happen, to me, puts you squarely in the mix.
Yeah.
Mule 96, who in your eyes is the most important get of the players left on the board?
Good question.
The most important to me would be my favorite Edwin. It would be Jeremiah Beeman.
That's my
it's Beeman. Yeah, to me, defensive line is such a need in this class, in my honest opinion.
I just can't skim over a big ass offensive tackle like Favor though.
And I say Jamonte Waller's right there too.
There you go, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I would start D line and work my way across. I would go Jeremiah Beeman. Not only is he a defensive lineman badass, but he's a flip from Alabama, in-state flip. I would go Jamonte Waller because it's such a big need.
Yep.
What the hell is that?
I missed that one.
In favor of Edwin. It was the balloons. I don't know what I did. Hey. And then give me an offensive tackle. Give me a high school offensive tackle that's going to be an NFL first-day guy in 3 or 4 years, like Favor Edwin. I believe him to be.
And he could be. I mean, he's got those raw tools that you just can't teach, man.
Auburn Sarge Wolf, 5'9", who is the Daniel Thomas type player, lower ranking but could produce quickly for the class that you think Auburn has a chance with? I love that question. Let me think about it.
Well, currently on the commit list, my pick would be Caleb Harris.
Harris, without a question. There you go.
But somebody that's still out there, I mean, gosh, they're shooting for the big fish right now. So it's kind of.
Well, I'm trying to think some of the lower, but I tell you what, man, believe it or not, I don't know why I say believe it or not. Auburn likes Amon Lane.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, they always have.
So
you know who's been on campus a lot that we've sort of missed a few times is Tevis Metcalf, who is
Arkansas, right?
Arkansas
Yes.
commit.
Yeah.
He's been there a lot. I don't know how much they like him. I haven't really talked to him, but we've seen him several times. So
he was saying who Auburn has a chance with. Amon Lane's committed, so is Caleb Harris.
But yeah, he's also committed.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's out there that's lower ranked, but I really
Zach was right. Until On 3 jumped on the Bryce Kane train. He was going to be that guy. And Chad Simmons loves Malcolm Simmons, and had he not, he would have been a 3-star guy too.
Cole, who's the kid committed to UCF that's a nickel?
Yeah, Christian Peterson. Love that guy.
That's the one to me. I think that's one they could turn on late.
There you go.
Loves Auburn. And if you're talking about looking like Daniel Thomas.
He goes to Westlake in Atlanta. He's originally from Dothan, Alabama.
Correct.
Man, that's another one. I'll put him in the category with Deion.
Good one.
If he gets away from Auburn, I think they'll regret it. I really do.
I tend to agree, Cole. And I for that reason, I think that's somebody that Zach is going to watch. And then as we you get into December and it's like, okay, maybe we're not getting this guy. Maybe we're not getting this guy. I love this guy. Let's turn it on here and see what happens.
Sure. That's the same reason I said something about Tevis Metcalf too. Those are a couple guys that have been hanging around on their board.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger 361 wants to know how many signees in the early period. I think we all decided around 25 last week. About 10 more.
Yeah, I'm going to go 24. In fact, I'm going to put out a mock class here relatively soon, and I think my number's 24.
23 to 25.
Yeah.
About 8 to 10 more high school JUCO guys. And then I think the late period is going to be mostly portal, by the way, Ranger.
Yes.
Wouldn't y'all agree? Ranger?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost all portal with the exception of potentially Ryan Williams.
There you go. Comeback kid, 23, with MJ Morris redshirting. I think he's the quarterback at NC State, maybe? Maryland?
Yeah.
NC State?
NC State.
Yep.
What would he be the top priority for college football Hall of Fame? Coach Hugh Freeze. Where's the connection with MJ Morris? Like, why does everybody think he's
his name circulated a lot?
It's like somebody Auburn fan base is absolutely crazy when one person, one side or something mentions one quarterback, like it just runs rampant for like weeks.
Yeah.
And this MJ Morris is just the latest, right?
Yeah, and his name came up a lot last year, and it was, possible that
who is he?
He's from Georgia, I believe.
He's from the Atlanta area. My understanding of MJ's
Carrollton, Georgia. I remember him.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a fit for what Hugh Freeze does offensively speaking, because he does have that dual threat ability mixed with a very live arm. He's still a young kid, so he's developing. And the only way I see MJ kind of landing here is if you decide that Peyton Thorne is your guy and Robbie moves on. You need another quarterback in the mix. And I could see a player like MJ Morris kind of coming in at that point, being a guy that could develop behind Peyton for a season.
Okay. Zach said that people compare him to Malik Willis. Has the kid played yet?
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he took over at quarterback for a few games, and one of them was the win over Clemson.
Yes.
And almost beat Louisville. By the way, NC State.
And then he just said, I'm out.
Yeah, he said he wanted to redshirt. He wanted to preserve the year.
After starting 4 games, he went 2-2 and then said, I'm out. Surely he was not hurt. He was benched, something, right?
That was the report made it sound like he decided to redshirt, and they didn't.
So the team, he's handed the keys to the team and says, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, I don't think that'll fly with.
And people are saying, "We want him."
Well, this is what I will say. I never judge a kid because I don't know what the circumstances are.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like the math isn't mathing, as they say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have context there for what's going on.
You're right. You're right. That's right. I shouldn't. It's got to be much deeper than what I'm.
I
Just
would
the
think
surface.
that, right. There's no way a kid that's, like you said, being handed the keys like that. There's got to be something there.
Yeah, there probably is. There probably is something we
wouldn't a portal guy with 4 years left? Wouldn't that be a little bit better, or would it be worse?
I think
you get stuck with them because they can't transfer again if they aren't very good.
Roster management. That's the thing, and that's what drives guys crazy right now. Is trying to figure out how you're slating people for layered depth so that you're not penalizing yourself moving forward. Because these guys are not just evaluating what you need next year, but it's 2-3 years down the line of what you have to have and the roster flexibility that you need. So there's a lot of moving pieces to that, and making sure that you get guys in the right eligibility slot. That matters sometimes as much as ability.
Did he play last year?
He did.
Okay.
And he lost his red shirt last year. I'm almost positive.
Okay. You're right. Zach said he has 3 years, not 4. My bad. Eli Double-Ott. Jhead, you stated on the board that you have rising confidence in Ryan Williams and Jamonte Waller, but falling with Jeremiah Beeman. What has changed that led you to this?
So I wouldn't say it was falling with Beeman. I've always thought it's going to be a difficult flip from Alabama. I'd just say that I have my confidence after a couple of conversations is higher on the other two than it is with Beeman. I think at the end of the day, there's just a little bit more buzz on my end. Now, again, intel is subjective to who you're hearing it from, right?
Yeah.
You guys may hear something completely different from what I'm hearing. So you're trying to make a determination of what you're getting access to, and the people that I know have a little bit more confidence on those two people.
Okay, there you go, Eli Double-Ott. Is that that wraps up the question portion of the show? Oh, let's see. Anything else? I thought DeAndre Carter was big news this week.
Laquan Robinson commitment coming up on Saturday.
Friday.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm hunting this weekend. Actually, Brooks is going to go hunting. I'm going to take. He's got the youth weekends this weekend.
Nice, man.
Maybe he'll get him one.
We're having a big family get together down in Gulf Shores. Got a big old house for a bunch of folks.
Sweet. Jhead, did I tell you I got my first bow? I mean, my bow kill.
Did you really?
I did. I got me a big old doe. Shot her from the ground, dude. It's a great story. Cole, I don't think you listen. This morning it was freezing. That cold front come in. It was about 30 degrees.
Right.
I'm sitting up there. She come in 10 yards from me. It was right after daylight too. Went up, pulled back, and my knock came out of my string. Doing. She ran off. I looked. There was dirt in my damn knock.
Are you kidding
so
me?
I cleaned it out with my pocket knife, put it back on there, sat down there. About 45 minutes later, here come two out of this way. One was standing 10 yards from me, broadside, and her buddy was over here. Oh, Auntie over here was just sitting there looking at me, saying, "Move, I dare you. I dare you to draw back on her." And finally, she started stomping. I was like, "Go on now." So those two walked on off. About an hour later, here comes 6 under. Walk behind me. The feeder's over here in front of me. I don't know why they walked behind me, and they got to looking, sniffing, and smelling, and they were running on off. And I was like, "All right, forget it, dude." It was 9:20. I was like, "I'm gonna get on down." Got down, threw my backpack on, threw my bow over my shoulder, started walking about 20 yards. I was like, "Man, something. My backpack was bothering my shoulder." Let me stop and get this thing fixed. Set my stuff down. I look up. Here comes 6 doe down. I was like, "Damn!" I'm just standing here. I'm full camo still. I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna take my sling off my bow. I'm gonna grab an arrow. I'm gonna put it in. I got to get my backpack and get my release, put it on my hand, and if they're still there, we'll see." And I did all that. I look up, and there's one 40 yards from me, and her little girlies are over here, and then they just chopped around. I said, "I'm gonna get a shot here." And I've never shot my 40-yard pin. Put that 40-yard pin on her. Damn. And then it stuck in her, and she took off out through the woods. I was like, "Damn, there's not gonna be enough blood to find."
Mm-hmm.
But Barnes Hard, dude, who was with me, I can't believe he knew what he was doing. He tracked that deer down and found her.
Did he really?
He sure did. It was amazing. Found my arrow half broken off. When their blood had run out, he did a semicircle around the last blood spot and was like, here's some up here, 20 yards away in the middle of this thick pine briar stuff. And he said, there's your deer over here. So there you go. Good story there. Yeah, first one. First one.
Good story.
All right. Are we good here? Do we Laquan Robinson Friday?
Laquan Robinson Friday. I think
we're only 2 weeks away from the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I think there could be a surprise before next week, maybe.
I agree.
I think there could be a surprise. I don't want to tip my hand on that.
Same.
But that's really it. It's kind of a slow week. I don't think you're going to see coaches out on the road this week, or if you do, we may not hear exactly where they are. But I think there's a lot of chips in the basket on getting this Arkansas win. That's the feel I got, that they feel like 7-5. 7-5 just floats better than 6-6 when you're trying to make a pitch in recruiting. And
I tell you what, that's right.
You're also working that NIL angle when you're trying to solicit more funds and network that way. It's all narrative, right? It's all how you're portraying yourself, and that 7-5 mark, the flip of the 5-7, just feels like better progress.
Yeah, and I'd heard for Vandy week and probably this week too, while they're still recruiting, don't get me wrong, probably put some more emphasis on, at least from Hugh Freeze's perspective, put some more emphasis on the football side of things. Got to get those wins.
Yeah, I think they know that wins this time of the year matter. That gives you momentum that you need on the trail. And then you come back and you got 2 straight home weeks where you can get kids in the stands. Probably the New Mexico State, I'm guessing you're probably going to have a lot of 2025 kids there if you get them. Try to build momentum in that class. And then the Iron Bowl is just going to be a who's list of every prospect that you can get in town. And I think they're going to let the chips fall where they may in recruiting that weekend.
Man, this weekend, because I don't think anybody, at first we thought, well, Auburn might have a chance. This is a beatable Alabama team. I don't believe that anymore.
No.
It's beatable, but I just don't know if it's beatable by this team, this Auburn team. So my point is, if you're going to get to 7 wins, you got to do it on Saturday.
Yep.
We'll know where they stand after this weekend. Besides that, we're going. Do you know what time the kickoff is on that? It's 3:00.
It's 3:00 on ESPN Plus, SEC Network.
Yeah, that sounds right. Have they? They haven't released. Man, Auburn really needs that Iron Bowl. It'll be 2:30, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
it will. I wish it would be a 6:45 kickoff.
Man,
a little extra time to lube up.
Make sure they smuggle in that old Forester. Get going early.
Yeah.
All right. Good show, folks. Thank you all for the questions, man. One more time, go to birddogs.com/Auburn, all caps, one word, get you a promotional Hydro Flask style bird. It's pretty cool too, man. Bird Dogs thermos, canteen, whatever you want to call it, birddogs.com/Auburn, all caps, one word. That's going to do it, folks. We will be back. When we'll be back Sunday night, 6:30 on YouTube. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit those notifications, man. It helps us out a lot. We greatly appreciate it, as we do you guys listening and watching each and every week. For Cole, for Zach in the back, for Jhead, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Man, y'all stay at that left lane. See you.